Looks like we finally got it loose now. So it's a, excuse the jumpy camera. I'm using my phone right now, so I can get a GoPro, and then maybe we'll be able to show it a little bit easier, but just getting started, and that'll be interesting. I know there's lots of folks that are doing these kind of things, but I like watching them. So, all right, it's out now. So this is what we were trying to do, take this out, because we need to get to that bolt right there to take this out. So, got that one done. All right. Now let's go back to trying to take that intake off now that we can get to it. Let's put a little PB blaster on there. All right, so got the intake bolts loose. I've already kind of loosened this thing up, so let's see if we get this thing out here now. This is the 5.0 intake. When we end up putting this engine in the 57, it's going to have a carbureted engine in it. So let's take a look at our... All right, so like I said, this engine had sit up for a while and had the mass air meter off of it. So squirrels, this is why we wanted to pull it apart. Didn't want to crank this engine over because we knew stuff it got into. So yeah, got some nuts, acorns, stuff in here. Although the lifter valley doesn't look clean. So like I said, this engine wasn't smoking or didn't have any issues before it was parked. The car was parked because the airbags in the Lincoln were bad, and it sat there. So we'll get these. We'll vacuum this stuff out of here. Get these out. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to reuse these heads. These are just stock E7TE heads in the car. If I can find a set of GT40 iron heads, not the P's, but the stock GT40 heads, I'll put them on here because that'll give about a 30 to 40 horsepower upgrade and still be able to use the stock headers that came from the factory on these cars. Like I said, this is a budget build, so it's not going to be a high performance car, but just make it perform a little bit better to pull, to be able to pull a big old car. So nice thing about this block, like I said, it's an 89. Came out of 89 Lincoln LSC, Lincoln Mark 7 LSC. So it's the HO motor. Of course, it's got the roller lifters, roller cam. Also, because this is the 89 model, it's got the forged pistons, so this is the desirable year. So if I ever decide to put some sort of a power added on it, then the piston should be able to handle it, assuming we don't have to go and overbore or anything like that. But right now the plan is to not do that. We're going to pull these off and take a look at it and see how that goes. But yeah, squirrels, that's just from where they got into the upper intake, and all their stuff just fell through, so that's why we didn't crank this thing over. And we'll just get all of that vacuumed out, pull this apart, and see how it does. All right. I wonder if this engine's ever been rebuilt. It looks like the gaskets and stuff are new on it, so it's at least had the top end off of it at one point. I don't think it had been rebuilt, but never can tell. It may have been rebuilt. All right, let's get this thing pulled apart. Well, that looks a little bit better. One thing I am a little worried about is got down in there stuff in the valves. Because squirrels had been down and they gotten stuff in the top, in the valves. What do the valves look like? So I don't know if you can see that, but a little bit of moisture down in there. I mean, that could be from where we power washed it off yesterday. A little bit of moisture down in there, but until we can see, there's still some, you can see, but it's still got some nuts and stuff down in there that the vacuum couldn't get out, so we're gonna have to take these apart. I mean, we're gonna have to put new valve seals and everything in them anyway, but yeah, a little bit of varmints, squirrels, and mice do wonders. Yeah, so still got some things to think about too. Like if you're ever doing a rescue of an older car, especially if the intake's been open, trying to make sure there's nothing like this stuff stuck up in the valves and the intake runners. Because although, yeah, it's organic and it'll probably crush up and, you know, not be much of an issue, but, you know, you can still get down into cylinder walls, still get down the cylinders and do some damage, especially if there's any rocks or anything else in there. So I wouldn't, just be careful doing restos and doing rescues, which we probably will on this channel at some point in time. But anyway, so anyway, that's what it looks like in there. But overall, not too bad. Not too bad. Same thing down there. Got a little bit of junk down there. This thing had the distributor was in it, but anyway.